Big up, big up, big up. Hello, everybody. Savva here from Heritage TV. Welcome. There's already 268 of you in this chat. You know what to do. You know the admin. Smash the likes. It's almost like your fee for being in here without having to pay. So smash that like button. I am joined today by Perchy from the Perchy TV. Big up, my man. Are you well?
Yeah, good, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Always, always, always. And also Barry from at Shelfside Spur. Barry, 2 days in a row. It's like Christmas for you.
Well, it is. It is. First of all, I've changed my shirt from yesterday because people were saying that I was all they could see was like a head talking, as it was the same color as the back of this. And Perchy, that shirt you wore earlier, I don't care that your missus bought it for you. It's absolutely horrendous.
Well, this one.
Let's have a look. Do you know what it looks like? It looks like you're part of a bowling league.
Yeah, I got that. Like, if anyone's watched 2.5 Men, and they said I look like Charlie Harper.
Yeah, just without the ability to pull birds like Charlie Harper does, right? Big up to everyone in the chat. Look, guys, we're going to just do a quick hour here, and then Henry's going live. Lots has happened today. Loads has happened today. I'll quickly go through it and then we'll talk about it. First and foremost, the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust announced, it was meant to be this big announcement. I'll be honest, I was like, meh, I don't really care. Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust announced that everyone should protest because they're sick and tired. The prices have gone up, blah, blah, blah. My little bitchy bit back to them is going to be, well, where have you been for all of the other issues? Where have you been for all the issues about Spurs not buying players? Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, they announced that. Tottenham then came back a couple of hours later and basically said, well, hang on, we haven't raised the ticket prices for 4 years. And then they said, we've been absorbing the costs, all the additional costs for the last 4 years, almost to say, you're welcome. We've done you a solid. Then Tottenham Hotspur announced some sort of partnership with Paramount Pictures to do with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film. And if anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, I'm gonna show you right now before you think that I'm going mad. Here we go. This is the sort of thing that gets announced just a few hours after apparently we need to protest against them. This will show you how much they care. Can we see that? Can everyone see that?
Oh, it's brilliant.
Look at this. It's absolutely shocking, if anyone can see that. Basically, for anyone who can't see that, it says, to mark this week's release of the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie in the UK cinemas, the club is collaborating with Paramount UK on a range of Turtles-themed activities, events, and merchandise is the key word during the school summer holidays. Click here to find out more. So, Barry, I'm going to start with you. Only in a day at Spurs where nothing happens could everything happen. And again, it's always to do with something that isn't about buying footballers.
Yeah, so, well, maybe it's Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael, and Leonardo's on your centre backs. Maybe
they can't be worse.
Maybe that's the time. And look, for anyone that's wondering, I'm not going to be wearing those the coloured pants and just, whichever turtle it is at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium or White Hart Lane on Sunday for the Shakhtar game. I also saw something, and I don't know whether you saw it as well, Savva and Perchy, was Harry Kane, if he lines up for the Brentford game, he will sign a new contract.
It's a madness, isn't it?
It's absolutely crazy. I mean, things I didn't even mention was that news coming out about Kane might sign a new contract. Then we had Fabrizio Romano, who came out again saying that Spurs are going to push to give Postecoglou what he needs, and that the talks are still ongoing with Van de Ven and Tapsoba. They just haven't decided which one yet. And then it said, what did it say? Strap in. August is going to be busy. Like, all of this and nothing's happened.
It's like we were talking about yesterday. It's the deflection. We've gone from Kane going to Kane staying. Then we've got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. then we've got the fairies, then we've got something else happening. Then, Van der Ven and Tapsoba, we're still talking to them. We just haven't decided which, whether we're going for steak or we're going for a bit of hamburger or what. Do you know what I mean? It's just so funny. You thought it was funny last week with everything that was going on. But this week, I think it's like, I know, guys, let's trump last week. Let's start off August with a bang and throw in all this nonsense. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. It almost as crazy as YouTube already putting my monetization to limited for this show. I mean, like, we've been going for about 4 minutes and I don't think anything bad has happened, but hey, Daniel Levy's watching. Look, in all seriousness, and before we start going through some of the comments, look, it was billed yesterday there was going to be this breaking news. And listen, I've said this isn't anything I haven't already said to Brian and Stel. I didn't see it, Barry, as this great big breaking news. For me, I don't look at the supporters trust with any sort of power. I don't look at them and think, oh my God, they're a really good body that can help and that can get stuff done. What did you make of the news when it first broke this morning? What were your initial feelings?
Well, when it got announced and stuff, and I was listening to it, and I read what they said, and I think for me, I've stood on the same sort of placard and the same sort of my feelings with it, and saying feelings have never changed. We can complain about ticket prices all we want, but it took 40 minutes for all 3 games to be sold out. So it can't, like they're saying about phasing out fans. But we knew this before this. You don't need to be a rocket scientist. These owners do not care about who's in it. They care about a bum on a seat. They don't care whose bum's on the seat. Yeah. It's always been like that. That's not groundbreaking news. I think we all knew that. This is where I've stood with it. I said, and like all I put was hashtag stop. Everyone, the hashtags going. I just went hashtag stop buying tickets. For me, that is the only way it's going to change. I think someone made a good analogy. Maybe you, Savva, said if I went to a shop and bought a packet of sweets and that packet of sweets was £5, but I could sit there and go, that's a disgrace. Well, you should not be buying that. You should not be selling a packet of sweets for £5. But then I pick it up and go to the counter and give them a £5. It doesn't work for me.
Listen, this is it. I mean, Barry, let me bring you in here. I mean, this is where, look, I want to make my position clear before people start having a go at me, right? And I know this isn't a popular opinion amongst a lot of the other, because I am leaving Unique out. So then people always say to me, well, why don't you protest? And look, my opinion on this, Barry, has always been, I feel we've gone past that. I feel the club have built themselves to a point now where they've got everything where they want it, right? They have all the cards, right? They have all the power. They've got all the, whatever analogy you want to use. These guys know that 40 minutes after tickets went on sale for our first 3 home games, done. They know, done. So they know as well that the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust have no power, right? They know that people can go and line up so they can go and protest, and then not all of them, but most of them then go inside the stadium to watch the game, spend money. So that's where I am with it. I'm not knocking anyone that does it, but I just don't see that this news changes a single thing. What about you, Barry? Where are you at with this? I know you're quite level-headed, so where are you at?
So look, I think for me, the Supporters Trust have seen maybe an opportunity to become relevant in something that maybe has created divide. Obviously, in terms of, let's just see what's happened. Let's just see what the issues are, and everything else. I mean, look, if it's so who came out with the tweet afterwards saying we've absorbed? Spurs came out with that.
Spurs have said this. This is what Tottenham Hotspur said, and this goes to show that they wasted no time. Like they are not bothered by this one bit. Everyone going, the press coverage, Sky Sports have got it. Spurs said this. Matchday ticket prices have been frozen since we opened the stadium over 4 years ago. Despite significant cost increases in our supplier chains and high inflation, the club continues to absorb the majority of these cost rises.
So they've come out and basically said that thanks for your message. A bit like what they did when they wrote that letter last year. They went, here's the questions. We won't necessarily answer all of it, but we'll just give you an overview. So it kind of says thanks very much, and that's it.
It comes across. Sorry, jump in there. It comes across as we've been kind enough for you for 4 years. You should be grateful that we've frozen them for 4 years. That's how it comes across. Bear in mind, one of the worst footballing seasons we had last season for a very, very long time, and it comes across as, well, you lot should be grateful. Why are you complaining?
Yeah.
And I said this, Perchy. I said this a couple of days ago when the tickets did sell out. They probably sat there thinking, I wish we'd put them up higher.
Yeah. Do you know what?
We sold out in 20 minutes, 30 minutes. We've also didn't have the top tier open for the Shakhtar game. Now we've opened the top tier. So
that's sold out as well.
You know, that's going to be sold out as well.
I did a video at lunchtime. You know, I always do a video, right? Every lunchtime. I did a video and it was basically saying, look, I don't think it's going to have any effect at all. I feel like, look, I get it, right? When you are so engrossed in it. So I understand, for example, like with Brian and Stel, where they're so in it, where it's their thing, the protests. I get it, right? They're gonna take this news and it's gonna go from being this to this. The same with the Joe Lewis news last week. In reality, I think it's just that, right? But people who are so Levy out have gone, oh my God, Spurs, the owner. I don't think it's going to have any difference either. But I did a video today and one of the first responses said, Savva, if anything, they will be regretting not putting up the prices higher, like you said, Barry, because of how quickly they sold out. And what they know is 30,000 season ticket holders tomorrow could all pass back their season tickets. That's what they want. They want people to go, I've had enough. And then because we all know what's coming next season, the season ticket prices are going to rise. So we all know that, but we can't then sit there and moan about it, knowing full well that it's happened. And I get it. I understand in a cost of living crisis where everything has gone up and people's disposable incomes have dwindled or there isn't any, and people are struggling to do all of this, doing things that they would have done in the past. I'm fortunate enough. I don't want to sound like I'm going, well, look at me, I can go. But I'm fortunate enough that I can go. But I make sacrifices so that I can go. I'm not just going because I've just got the money to just throw away and everything else. I'm going because I'm thinking of other things that I'm not doing because I want to be there at the point where, and I think one of the, I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was one of the guys. I think it was Giordi, as Savva got caught yesterday. He gave up his season ticket because of Mike Ashley and everything else. He's now 45,000th on the waiting list. I don't want to be in that situation. At some point, these owners will not be there. Perchy, you don't go. Savva doesn't go. Savva doesn't put money into the club. Everyone has a point where
I agree.
They feel what they're doing is right, but ultimately it comes back to, look, Savva wants Nick out and Levy out. Perchy wants Nick out and Levy out. I want them out. But I think everyone has different trigger points, and it's not okay. Some were Martin, some were, what's happened the last few years. Some were Potts, some were what have you. And I think we just need to remember that that's the reason. It's
also, Barry, it's people with ideologies. For me, I stand by the principle of I can't justify giving these people my money. That in a sense is my form of protest. I'll protest against these owners, so I will not buy any crap from the club. I won't go to the stadium until they've gone. That's my form of protest. But this is the point. That everyone has a different form of it. The guys that protest, I've always said, I've always always stand up for the guys that protest. Fair play. You stand up for what you're believing, and that's how you believe action will be taken. I don't think it will. I don't think I'm in the same boat as with Savva saying. I think we're way too far gone on that. But I always will stand up to anyone. Heck, if I ever go down there, like sometimes whenever I do come back to the UK, I'll go down there. I won't go to the stadium, but I'll go to the pubs because I've got a load of mates that still go and stuff. I'll go down and have a chat and have a drink with them. I'll go and chat with Brian and Co and all this lot all the time. But I haven't got anything against it. I think this is the point. I just sit back and go, I just don't, unless as I said, the only way I think Savva made a great point. It's so far gone in a sense because the other point with it though is that I do agree in the sense that if you don't go, Spurs take your seat anyway. As I said, because so many people that want to go anyway.
The other thing is, and I said this to Phil P earlier. Actually, I said, do we see this outrage at local Tesco's because the price of food has gone up? Do we see the outrage at Sainsbury's? Do we see outrage at the local, the gas, your gas or your petrol station? Do we see this outrage because of everything's gone up? No, I think the issue here is that the club are so disengaged and they don't care, which is clear from that statement today straight away, saying you should be grateful that that's where the disconnect is. If we're still going to pay, we're still going to pay our energy bills, we're still going to pay our council tax, we're still going to pay our gas, electric, water, and everything else. But
Barry, do you know what? Right? Do you know what? I think you're right. I think we're conflating two different things here. Before I do that, by the way, there's 574 of you in the chat, only 126 likes. Why do we have to keep playing this game? It's free. It's almost like an entrance fee. Just smash the like, people. Thank you to everyone that has subscribed. Nearly at 8,250. We only hit 8K 48 hours ago. So this is absolutely mental. Please smash that subscribe button. I'm doing my best. I'm putting in the graph for you. I'm even getting on sexy guests like Barry and Perchy. I mean, what more do you want from me, people? What more do you want? And by the way, super chat as well. Big up Daniel Montandon, always a big supporter of the channels. Really good guy. Said, hello, Savva, Perchy and Barry. Hope you're good. You guys are great to watch. You should see us when we're not talking about football and we're doing other things. We're even better to watch. Take that to mean whatever you want it to mean. Barry, my point is this, right? My friend Graham was over earlier. He's a Spurs fan as well. He used to have a season ticket, won't buy one anymore because he doesn't like what's going on. And I said to him, everyone's going up in arms about the ticket prices. Now, I think as someone who won't go because I don't believe in paying money into the club, I look at it and go, yeah, the ticket prices are high, but you know what? Doesn't really affect me because I've made my decision that I'm not going all the while you guys are running the club the way you're running it. Everyone else that's buying tickets, cool, right? I'm not having a go at them. But I said this to him. I said, if me and you, Graham, I was pointing at one of my watches. I said, if me and you open up a watch shop tomorrow and we had 1,000 watches and we said, right, every watch in here is £10,000. If after the first month we've sold 500 of those watches at £10,000, we go, yeah, we're justified. 500 people want these watches at £10,000. People are willing to pay the asking price. If after that first month we've only sold 50 of the 1,000 watches, you know what? We might need to put the price down a little bit. And it was that simple for me. People are paying it. People aren't just paying it. They're not even umming and ahhing about it, guys. No. It's selling out like that. The videos of there was 80,000 people the other night watching WizKid, right? They showed the shop. They showed the Spurs shop when I was going to say Madonna. It wasn't Madonna, was it? When Beyonce was playing there. And 50% of the store had been changed into Beyonce merchandise, Beyonce posters, this, that. It's not a football club. And that for me is why none of this for me is ever going to work. They have got no reason to listen to anybody and change the way they run this club. It's gone far beyond.
No, I think you're actually bang on. That's the thing though. Like, I think we're now against a conglomerate. Now we're talking about everything now. They will ram as much stuff in that stadium as possible. But as you made a great point, they wouldn't have those prices that high if people didn't buy them. And I made a great point. I made a point the other day. I said they could charge you £100 to go and watch Luton Town at home. It will still be sold out.
Yeah.
So why not?
It's just, and that Perchy, you're absolutely right. And this is the thing. So, like, good, fair play for everyone that's involved, and that's their choice. I'm not knocking. By the way, I'm not knocking people to choose what they want to do.
Agreed.
And that, like you say, some of those people are so deep in, and they have been for a long time. I was there on that first January morning, the first time I actually met Brian and Graham and Ryan, and it was freezing, absolutely freezing. Where we had to go down to the petrol station, and you get the old gloves and the old socks that are on the old end of the till. They were, so we had to go and get a load of them. But look, I just feel that and the only way that any of this is solved, and I think we all agree, is that Enoch and Levy are not in the club. But until they're gone, we're going to continue to see this. Next year, we'll see season ticket prices increase because they're not going to have season ticket holders selling their seat and making money off it, because they can pay for their season ticket and then some if they don't go to the games and put them on the exchange. Also, when a game sells out, season ticket holders should be allowed to put their seat. They should open up the ticket exchange. For those that can't go, they should open up the ticket exchange. They haven't done that yet. And I don't think they'll do that.
No, of course they will.
They'll do that until 3 or 4 days before the actual game, because they won't want the then noise to come to, do it.
But Barry, the ticket exchange, they want that open as quick as possible. And the reason being, hear me out, they've already got the money. So they put the ticket exchange, they've already got the money because it's through season ticket holders, right?
Yeah.
They put it out. They put it out as quick as possible. Oh, well, 10,000 people can't go. Okay. Then 10,000 people go and buy them. And what do they do on every single one of those tickets? Service charge. They make an extra. They make an extra what? 10 grand on service charges just from people selling their ticket to go to another fan. They make what, £2.50, whatever it is, on it.
Yeah,
it's mad.
Listen, I've always thought the same thing, right? Like I was just on with Rants, and one of the things we were talking about was just how disconnected Levy and the owners are from the club, which is one of the reasons why they won't care what we think, because they're not invested in us. Like, if you had one of those fan bases, for example, Brighton, the Brighton owner is really invested with his people.
Yeah.
Right? They're really invested with his people. If he heard that they were really upset and all this bad stuff was going on, he's the sort of guy that would go, oh, hang on. Oh, we need to address this. Our owners aren't built this way. We need to accept that now. And listen, when people go, oh, you've given up, you've accepted it. Listen, I gave up and accepted it the moment they built that spaceship. Right? Yeah. The moment they put that spaceship in the middle of North London was the moment we stopped being a football club. Right? They're not on the same page. They don't care about our feelings. And the example I gave to Rants, guys, was this. I hear a lot from the same people. I always hear Newcastle did it, Man United did it. Well, Man United didn't do it because the Glazers, as far as I'm aware, are still at Man United. And the Glazers as well, by the way, look at the fight they're kicking up before they sell the club. They're getting offers of 6 billion and going, nah. Right? So, no, it hasn't worked at Man United. Right? Newcastle is the other example. Okay, cool. Newcastle, a football club that was worth £300 million. Now, I know that sounds extortionate amounts of money for the everyday person like us, unless you guys have got 300 million in the bank I don't know about, right? For people like us, 300 million is a lot of money. Football club terms, 300 million isn't a lot. And the difference is Newcastle's fans were protesting against the owner of a football club. We, for me, are not protesting against the owners of a football club. They are a business where football is one string to the bow, right? Football for me is here. As soon as the football finishes, it's right. Where's the boxing? Here. Here's the NFL. Here's the concerts. Now add in Paramount Pictures, whatever we're doing with them, the Skywalk, the Formula One track. Yeah. We're protesting against a business that has been built this way on purpose. This isn't, do you know what I mean, Barry? This was made by design.
Yeah. And look, guys, we're talking about Phil P. I love you to bits, mate. But let's not go down the route of protesting about women getting the vote and apartheid, because this is not
the same thing.
This is not this. This honestly, I've just said on Sean's group, right? Football has not been for the working class since the Premier League started. Since the Premier League came in, that's when all the money started flying into football. and that's when it is. But now we're dying on a hill because the prices have gone up £25 a game or whatever it is. We're dying on a hill for it. And also, can I say, Fulham have the highest season ticket price in the country at £3,000. So,
yeah. Did you not know that?
£3,000 is their highest ticket.
They're the highest season tickets in Premier League.
They're higher than us now.
To be fair, it's a nice area.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's like a posh bit in their new stand, I think.
Yeah. But the point is, that's what Fulham think that they can charge.
Yeah.
People are going to pay it.
Yeah.
So then, what are Fulham fans going to go? I don't know. I just think that we go too far down a line, and we can't see. We can't see what, with a little bit of rationale and a little bit of balance.
I think. Listen, I think you're right. And listen, listen, I love Phil to bits, by the way, but we will always not see eye to eye on this subject. The thing is, again, it's the people that are so invested in the purple and gold and the protests will try and make out that these things are having an effect when I haven't seen them have an effect yet. I think the whole furlough issue is completely separate. The whole furlough issue was more of a moral standpoint because of a global pandemic, right? This is not that. This is not that. This is a choice that people make to buy a ticket or not. Now, do I agree with the prices? I think we all agree that I don't, right? Yeah. You won't see me there buying a ticket. If somebody says to me, 90 quid to go and watch Tottenham Hotspur, 90 quid to go and watch Oliver Skipp and Eric Dyer and Ryan Sessegnon and Richarlison, I'm sorry, no. And this has been my point about this all along, guys. I am all for people's right to protest. Cool, go and protest, right? Go and protest. But when I'm told, but you're not doing anything, well, I'm not going. My protest is by not giving them money.
Exactly what I said.
We all do it differently. But if people are going and standing outside, protesting, then they're going to sit inside to watch the game and they're having a pint, they're having a burger, cool. But I look at that and go, I'm struggling to take it serious. I'm struggling. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like Barry turning around to me and going, you know what? They've built a brand new Marks and Spencer's right next door to my house. They do brilliant food. It's easier for me to buy there. I don't want to go to the Sainsbury's 10 minutes down the road. And then the next day I see him in the Marks and Spencer's cafe bit next door to his house, having a cup of coffee at £5.50 or whatever, instead of doing the 10-minute journey down the road to Sainsbury's. I can't take it seriously when people pay and then complain. I don't buy expensive things if I don't think they're worth it. Sorry for the rant. I just don't get it.
But Sav, you're spot on here, and this is the point. And this is the part of it, though. Like, if the problem is what we have is the way that we operate. Everyone moans about it, and I get it. Listen, I don't want these owners as much, but that's why I won't put any money towards it. Listen, the problem is people will say, oh well, like you're allowed to protest. None of us here has gone, no, don't. But the problem is what you've got to remember is you can protest, but then it's like walking into what you're basically saying I'm against. You're going, I'm against paying 90 quid for this ticket, but then walking in not with the 90 quid ticket and paying the 90 quid for the ticket. It's like, it's not justifiable for me. I can't justify it. Listen, that's the problem. Like the state, regardless of whatever we think, let's put it frankly. Does Daniel Levy care about what's happened today? No. Will he care? No.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
When would he care? The only way he would care is if no one turned up. If no one turned up.
Okay, so let's talk about that, Perchy.
But it would never happen.
Let's talk about that. Barry, let me bring you in on that. What would have to happen? Let's go through every scenario. What would have to happen for that stadium to not be full on a Saturday at 3 p.m.? I'm always going to use the Saturday 3 p.m. What would have to happen?
Get relegated.
No.
COVID?
No, but
again.
But I'm talking about from the point of view of this. I'm talking about from the point of view of this, right? So everybody doesn't want to go, can't go for the day. They put their season ticket or the ticket on Ticket Exchange straight away. Boom, 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 boom. People don't buy the tickets. Somebody else goes and buys the tickets, right? What would have to happen for that place to not be packed? I can't see a scenario in where that unless there is a global pandemic, I can't see a scenario where Daniel Levy hasn't got 62,000 paying customers every single home game, 80,000 for concerts, 80,000 for NFL, whatever, that's 62,000 for NFL. I can't see how we get to that point, which is why I can't see the point in the protests. It's just me.
But I think someone put a great point in on the chat. I think you put it up. I can't remember who it was, but they said 500 people protesting against 62,000 people walking into the stadium. It's a mismatch, isn't it? Listen, the only way you can win it is if at least the majority of the people are protesting against it and not turning up. And I think Phil made a point about the U-turn that Liverpool fans did. What did Liverpool fans do?
Hang on, this is what we said. Sorry, just quickly, this is what was said. We didn't say every single seat at Fulham was 3,000, did we? So, quite frustrating when false narratives are heard by ears that don't work, is what I would say. Sorry, Perchy.
No, what I was just saying, what the Liverpool fans did is they came together and went, fine, do you know what? If you're not going to listen to us, we'll find a way to do it. So what we'll find a way is collectively. Now, here's the question. So the ticket prices have gone up to whatever. Let's just say, I don't know, every Spurs fan walks out at the 82nd minute because 1882, they walk out in the 82nd minute. Now, here's the question. Would fans do it? I'm going to say no.
In what minute?
I just said the 82nd minute, like that. Whatever. I'm just picking.
They're probably leaving the 82nd minute to beat the traffic, Perchy. I've seen quite a few.
But that's the thing. It wouldn't. For me, it would have to be a real statement, Perchy. The 82nd minute, people leave anyway. Okay, for me, it's got to be it's got to be a statement, isn't it? Yeah. On the hour, 40,000 people get up and walk out. Right?
Yeah, but here's the question. Will that happen? Yeah, that might happen if we're 2-0 down to Aston Villa. Will that happen if we're 1-0 up against Arsenal? No. Will that happen if we're 1-0 up against Chelsea, Man City? No. Do you know what I mean? So the problem is it doesn't work unless collectively everyone does it. Unless everyone collectively does it, then it makes no difference. As I said, but will it happen? Probably not. That's the problem. And when I see it happen, then I'll go, do you know what? Fine, fair enough. You've not collectively, everyone has managed to do it. But I can tell you now that the majority of people sat in that stadium will not walk out at any time.
Perchy, the other reason why they also don't want to have a block, or obviously there's rumours of the block that I'm sat in being the singing block or whatever that looks like, because obviously you've got people that are in the shelf that used to be in, where they were, and they were all together and everyone's kind of got split up. That's exactly what the club want. If they suddenly had 100 people in a block and everyone knew each other in that block, right? And then they said, guys, there's 100 of us, we're going to all walk out, then that's going to show a bit of a statement. They don't want that. That's not what they're going to do. You're not going to have, there's 11 of us all sat together, right? If 11 people walk out, is it going to make a difference? No. If someone else walks out down the road, it doesn't make a difference. And that's the point. It's because there isn't a block, there isn't there isn't 2 or 3 sections. They've split it up with the 1882 club in the South Stand.
I was just about to say that.
I
was just about to say that. When I read that they put that in, I went, they don't. You know, when they were telling, it's going to be like our Borussia Dortmund thing. And as soon as they mentioned about that, I went, there you go. It's just proving a point. It's just proving my point. It's exactly what's not there.
Do you know what I don't get, right? Like, loads of people coming in going, are you just saying just do nothing then? Listen, I feel we've gone beyond that point. I truly worry that I think so many people don't actually understand what the club have done. I think so many people still think we're just a football team. And I don't think they understand. I truly don't think they understand that we are not their sole concern. The football fans are not their sole concern. if everybody stopped buying NFL tickets, by the way, you wouldn't make it happen because people come from all around the world to watch at this stadium.
Yeah.
If people stopped buying boxing tickets, concert tickets, right, they would have a problem. But the thing is, no one's even stopping buying the football, let alone the NFL, let alone the concert. So when people are saying you're just doing nothing, I tell you what I'll do. I will protest when every single person that protests doesn't buy a season ticket or a ticket to go into the ground. When the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust give back their season tickets, I will protest. All the while, the club is selling out every game and then selling millions of pounds worth of beer and burgers and wine every day. Then selling out concerts, NFL, boxing. What is it? Barry, I've got to ask Barry, what is it when those things are happening? What are we protesting against? What are we protesting against? A £1 billion corporation that didn't build this to be successful at football.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We're not. If you go back, and I can't remember where it is. I think probably somewhere on the Tottenham website, and it says something like stadium, entertainment event, blah blah blah, and a football club.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the last thing,
Right.
And I think we forget that we're not a football club anymore. The season ticket holders, there will not be, if in Tottenham's world, if they had 0 season ticket holders, that would be perfect for them. Because you wouldn't have the people. You wouldn't, and it will virtually 100%.
I said in the next 10 years there'll be no such thing as a season ticket holder because they don't need to. They don't want. I say this to people. I said they don't want you with your season ticket anymore. They want Joe to bring his kids along, his 2 kids along, so we can go to the shop and go and buy some food. They don't want season ticket holders anymore. They are going to get drowned out, and I've said it all along.
And all this, I just can't get an answer to the question from anybody. That, like, people keep saying things to me like, "I'll show you," like this, like this. But if you do nothing, nothing will get done. But what's getting done anyway? What? I'll ask you this question, JT. I'll ask you this question, right? So 1,000 people go and protest. Cool. Fair play to them. I'm not knocking them for doing it, just because it's my personal choice for me not to. 1,000 people go and protest, right? Then when the game starts, 62,000 people are in there, right? 20,000 of them have been in there for an hour or so buying beer, buying hot dogs, buying pizza, buying whatever. 30,000 of those people then go into the concourse at half time and are buying beer, buying food, buying this. Then for 2 hours after the game finishes, another 10,000, whatever, 15,000 are hanging around buying beer, doing this, doing that. What would the protest have been for? Is my point. It's not hurting them. Business owners act when something hurts them. Yeah. You're not hurting them. You're making them money. Not you, JT, but the people that are protesting are the people paying them. It's madness. It's absolutely madness. This is why I just don't get it. Sorry, guys. It frustrates me so much.
I went down. I went to 2 home games and 4 away games last season. I went to more away games than I did to home games purely because 1, I wasn't enjoying it. 2, the football was crap. The atmosphere was shocking. At half time in the North London derby, I went and sat in the marketplace like, what the hell am I doing? What the hell am I doing? And all the while, we're getting absolutely destroyed on the football pitch. And there's people just throwing money, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50 quids all over the tills when the game is going on. Let alone after the game. And I'm literally sat here and I spoke to a guy and he'd said, I've been a season ticket holder for 40 years. This club's broken me. I can't do it anymore.
But Barry, But this is exactly it. And I know, Sav, you want to go and just on
Yeah,
that
sorry,
point,
go on.
I know you, but on that, what you were just saying, last season, on average, that stadium was filled by 99.2%. One of the worst footballing performances of it. Why wouldn't they have put the prices up? This is my point. Like, we sit there and moan about it, but everyone's still going. And just before you pick up there was a comment that said about members and stuff going to the other events. That's that. I don't think that was slightly the point where you're trying to make there. Those other events haven't got Tottenham fans in there. They don't have vested interest into this football club. So they are going to get packed out all these other events because they're not top. They don't care. They're not sitting there going, oh, well, we better not because of Daniel Levy. Do you know what I mean? They don't care about that. So it's a false narrative, that one. But so
a couple of comments I want to bring up I just find ridiculous. First of all, explain why Man United fans got their owners to put themselves up for sale. I mean, first and foremost, Man United hasn't been sold yet, right? Second of all, as far as I'm aware, Man United is a football club.
Yep.
As far as I'm aware, Old Trafford is used as a football stadium and isn't bringing in the revenue that Tottenham Stadium is bringing in. So, Danny, you keep coming up with this, and I keep saying the same thing to you. We're not just protesting against football. People are not able to separate this in their minds, right? The next comment I saw, Wayne, spot on. The fans of the NFL, you can replace that with concerts, replace that with boxing. Yeah. They are not interested in what's going on at Spurs. They are there to watch the NFL games, right? I went a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, whenever it was. I took two friends, got some free tickets, and we watched Anthony Joshua fight at Spurs. Those two have no interest in football. They have no interest in football. They want to go, and they went, what a lovely stadium this is, boxing. They wouldn't have gone, do you know what? We're not going to go to that because Daniel Levy's ripping off the Spurs fans. They don't care. They do not care. And then the last one I saw was, made me laugh, was this. Savva won't vote in the election. Do you know what? Savva doesn't vote. And you know what? Savva doesn't moan about the Prime Minister because I think they're all a bunch of absolute clowns. I don't care. So this one, you can say these silly little things. It don't quite work, my man.
But what I don't get with this comment though is I don't get where the vote is. I'm trying to work. I'm trying to balance it and work it to Tottenham here. I'm trying to work it out. So we're saying, what we're trying to work out here, what we're saying with the vote about protesting is the people that are voting, but the same people that are voting against something are doing exactly what they're going against. I'm just trying to work out the parallel to what you were trying to make there. It made no sense.
Yeah.
No, and that's the thing, right? So I was at it was my father-in-law's birthday at the weekend. Otherwise, it'd have been 3 days in a row, Savva. And we sat there and we're like, I'm taking him there on Sunday because he's a football fan and everything else. 2 or 3 people in the room are going, "Oh yeah, I've been to Tottenham," and I was waiting for it, and I knew exactly what they're going to say. I said, "I'm just going to stop you there. You're going to say what a lovely stadium, aren't you?" He goes, "Yeah, exactly." Because that's what everyone says.
Exactly. But we're not. Listen. Okay, let's look at it like this. By the way, Tommy, I'm not saying I've already said fair play to everyone who wants to go and do it, but I won't exert my energy doing it because I think I've got better things to be doing than protesting against billionaires that will sell when they want to sell. Right, Tommy, let me break this down for people that don't seem to understand how business works. Right. This is the thing. We think of it from a football point of view. Me, Barry, Perchy, everyone in here, we think of it from a football point of view. Why is the team not doing well? Why haven't we signed these players? Why aren't we competing with Arsenal and Chelsea and Liverpool, Man United? Why are we not winning competitions? The owners have built this so that none of that matters. The owners have built this so that they can make a ton of money, right? The owners have built this by design. They didn't stumble across this formula a few years ago. When Daniel Levy's not an idiot, as much as we don't like him, Daniel Levy, Joe Lewis, the board, they are not idiots. When they would have put these plans together, they would have had the best people in the world putting together marketing plans, this plan for what we're going to do. And unfortunately, their plan didn't involve solely being a football club. It's not a football club anymore. Football is part of it.
And but Savva, the bit there is one exact reason what you're going to say. What I was about to say on that was where you said about the stadium wasn't built for the football. It wasn't, so they built an NFL pitch in it. Like if that didn't tell people that this wasn't about a football stadium, it was about a multi-complex to put absolutely everything in.
Someone help me out. I mean, if this person can't understand how the NFL and boxing affect anything, Danny, it's not been. They don't rely on the football money only. They don't rely purely on football. This is the point. Most clubs, Barry, I'll come to you, right? Most clubs play their game on a Saturday. Let's just say Saturday. Play their game on a Saturday. They don't switch the lights on at the stadium for another fortnight. They go and play their away game. Then they're back 2 weeks later. Yeah. Spurs play their game on a Saturday. Oh, what's going on at the stadium on a Sunday? What's happening there on Wednesday night? What's happening there? How do fans not see this? Am I stupid? I don't understand how.
But Savva, this is the thing. And do you know what? It's not even the stadium itself. They have conferences every day at that stadium. They have a business infrastructure within the stadium. So they have people there filling that place out all the time. They don't even use the pitch half the time. They'll have people sat in boardrooms within it. Like, it's just, I don't understand why people can't see it.
I've got a question then. I've got a question for all the people having a dig at me. By the way, I was one of the people saying in 2007 that I hated these owners. 2007. For all the people having a go at me, how many of you, there are more people right now watching this show. There are 754 people watching this show. That is times 4 protests.
Yeah.
Right? So all these people having a go at me, where are you then? Why is it because I put my face to a camera? Why is it my fault? Why are all 754 people in here not at the protests every week? And the 754 people that will watch Tottenham away, and the 754 people that will watch the next channel and Sean, and why are all of those people not at the protests if it's so obvious?
Exactly. Do you know what, Sav? You are absolutely
I don't get it.
You're on the money. You hear all this. Oh, well, why don't you protest? Well, what about why don't you protest? Because you're not there. Because it's the do you know what? And this is the one thing I will say. Fair play, because it is always the same people at the protests. It's the same ones, the Stells, the Bryans, the Phil P's. Do you know what I mean? Billy, all these lads, these are all the same lads that I see every single time at the protests. Yet the people on here that I don't know who you are personally, I don't see you at the protests. When I've gone past there, it's a few hundred people sometimes. So when you give people stick that don't agree necessarily that protests work,
Barry, let me ask you, right? Let me ask you, Barry. What is? Let's say I was somebody. Let's say I wanted to join the protests. I'm somebody that wants to join the protests, and you're going to sell it to me. What's the aim? What in the end? What is the aim, and what's the journey to get there? Okay, people go and stand outside, they sing, leave you out, Enoch out. What's that meant to do for the owners? What's the trigger point that they go, oh my God, we have to sell. There's 200 people out there moaning. What's the trigger point? I don't understand.
Well, I guess like with the football club, there is no plan. The end game, we all know what the end game is, right? The end game is that we have new owners.
Sure.
I don't think anyone knows how to get to that end game.
Sure.
Agreed.
The only way you get to that end game is if someone walks into the office and says, right, how much do you want? And they go, we want 10 billion, let's just say.
Yeah.
And they go, here's 10 billion. And they go, thank you very much. Good, do everything that needs to be done. Here's the new owners. But because everything is because there's Tottenham Hotspur Entertainment, there's Tottenham Hotspur Property, there's Tottenham Hotspur no one knows what you're buying. Are you buying the football club? Are you buying the training ground? Are you buying the NFL? Are you getting the concerts? Are you getting the cinema? Are you getting the hotels? Are you getting the F1? No one really knows what you're getting.
Exactly.
And I think that is, for me, that's the problem. We don't know what we are anymore, because we all think we're just a football club, which we're not. We're told, today basically the biggest voice, the supporters trust, again gets shot down within however long it was, a couple of hours, because they've literally gone, you lot should be grateful. No one's kicking off about that, going, look at this, how dare they treat us like that. Well, if we're going to keep paying it, I've kind of gone, I've not gone full circle, because it's exhausting, right? But yes, I've been to protest. Am I going to go to another protest? I don't know the honest answer. I'm not going to sit here and go, yes, I'm going to be there. No, I'm not going to be there. It's just how things, I guess it's how I wake up on that morning and go, do you know what? I'm going to go and sit. But am I going to protest? Maybe. Am I going to see the guys there? Yeah. Probably more than I am going to protest.
Yeah. Right. But, so the key thing for me, oh God, I wish this. When people get blocked from the show for being idiots, they always then email my YouTube email address. Yeah. And they're like, I've been blocked. Why have I? It's like, well, you know what you did. You came in, you knew what you were doing. Yeah. And you wonder, look, this comment, Evan, by the way, I'm not saying they shouldn't utilize it. I've not said that in any way, shape, or form. I'm trying to make people see rational thinking. The fact that they utilize it to the point they do is one of the reasons why us protesting about the football won't make them leave. If we were a football team, so at White Hart Lane, when we were just football and it was a smaller stadium and the club was probably going to be worth about 400 million, 500 million, mate, I don't know, depending on the squad value at the time. If you were protested then, yeah, because you're protesting against a stadium that only hosts football games once every 2 weeks and owners that only own a football club. You're now protesting against billionaire owners. I do not understand what is difficult to understand about this. I do not understand at all.
I was going to say, Amy Carceretta 755 is absolutely bang on. Tottenham Hotspur the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium has its own website. That says it all, doesn't it? The stadium of our football club has its own website. Like, no, you're battling against. It's just exactly like we sit back and go, "Wow, the stadium has its own website." No wonder that's where we're at the moment. We're fighting against that.
Listen. I'm. By the way, I just want to say I've not said anyone shouldn't. I'm just explaining why I don't. I'm explaining why I don't think today was game-changing information. Like, people were putting it out there that this is a game changer. I don't see what it changes. The club responded within 2 hours, basically with 2 sentences to shut it down.
And this is exactly what happened. All of the good work when Brian was there at the training ground in that January, they just went, there's Kulu, there's Bentancur, mic drop. What are you saying now? And just blew it out of the water. And that's exactly what they've done today. They've seen it. There's people in the chat, and I guarantee there's people watching this from the club that will be sat there and would have gone, oh, have you seen the news? Yeah, right. What do we say? Oh, this is our statement. And then it's not blown it out of the water, but it's done what it needed to do. These people are very clever with their words. They're not football people. These are business people. These are people that are highly connected. And if we think that all of this Tottenham Hotspur, the world, everything else is all not going around because someone's actually they're all planning this, then I know it's a bit deep conspiracy theory, but if we all think that we're sat there and, going back to Savva's prime minister thing, right? Savva doesn't vote. He doesn't comment about it. Whoever votes, do we actually know that those are the actual votes? No, we just get told that's the result.
Yeah.
So we're being told football, and we're believing it, and this is football. So
I need to get to some super chats. I need to get to Phil. I'll come back to Phil. Phil, I'll do your comment and do super chats. Phil has said, question, so what is the point of even bothering to say Enoch or Levy out? I can want people to leave. My end game can be that I want them to leave, but it doesn't mean that I believe the protest will work. So why waste your breath on any of it? Well, listen, that's the same as saying that's the exact same as saying, oh, well, why say I want Eric Dyer to leave the football club? Because I've got no say over that. Do I just say, oh, keep Dyer because I can't control whether he leaves or not? Why not just go to games then? Because I'm not going to pay what they want for the product they're offering. It's pretty simple, really. I get it. This is what I mean. The people that are so entrenched in it, Phil, I've said this to you before. I've been brutally honest with you, right? You pay and then go and protest. For me, I can't make, in my mind, I can't make that work. Yeah. Only in my mind. I want to watch my football club, yeah, but it's not worth what I'm paying, but I'm paying it anyway. I can't make it work, Phil. So that's the only thing. Big up to Daniel. Thank you very much for your super chat earlier. Paul Shepherd came in with a super chat as well. Thank you, Paul. Although I do think is that a picture of Gary Oldman? No, I don't know. Oh, if that's you, Paul, you look a little bit like Gary Oldman. Shepherd. It might be, yeah. If it's you, Paul Shepherd, you look like Gary Oldman. Rooksy Popper said David Raya agreed personal terms of Arsenal. They're acting like a proper club. Why people think they'll fall away for some reason, I don't know. There's a difference between acting like a proper club and then having the ability to rotate all those players, keep them happy. Champions League football. We'll see. I think they'll be right up there. Terry O'Shea has become a channel member. Thank you so much, Terry. Much appreciated. We'll have channel member-only shows from next week. Daniel Montandon's just come in and again with another super chat. Man. Thank you so much. Benjamin Lees, thank you so much for the super chat. I said, big up panel, good points made. OTBC, off to, I don't know.
Up the bloody Canaries. No, that's not up, is it?
And Della Spurs has said, Savva protesting creates bad PR for Enoch Levy and will force them to address the fans' concern due to negative media coverage. Everyone has different goals for protest, but change start with a rally cry. Cool. And you know what? I'm not telling those people not to do it. I'm not telling them not to do it. I'm just saying for me, why I don't think today's news was groundbreaking. If ex-players came out, ex-managers came out and said you should all protest, I'd go, oh, but the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust haven't done anything, as far as I'm aware, of note to make the club change their mind on anything. Only my opinion. I'm not having a go at anyone. Big up to all the guys. Listen, I get on with Stel. Get on with Brian. Get on with Phil P. Go and do what you got to do. It don't work for me. That's all. That's all it is. Any last comments, guys, before we wrap up?
I think you sort of nailed it there. This isn't anything against the protesters, by the way. Listen, go and do it. Stand up for what you believe in. I respect that, by the way. I respect anyone for doing what they believe. Just stand up for what you believe in. But also, people in the comments need to respect that Savva and I, for argument's sake, will stand up for what we believe in by not giving them our money. We're all protesting in our own ways. I think people need to remember that. There's no one right way.
Yeah.
Barry, anything?
Yeah, look, it's an emotional subject. I think, look, from would we have seen the Supporters Trust ever come out and do this in the past? No. So, fair play, however that's happened, whether that's what's directly through Brian and Stel and what they've done, or the contact, or however it's come about, fair play. If people going to the protest, like you said, fair play, because they're in it deep, and they've been in it deep, and no one's mocking them. But what I would say is to just show a little bit of balance, and a little bit of, this whole thing about the working class. It's absolute nonsense. It's not about pricing the working class out of football. The working class have been priced out of football a long time ago.
Agreed.
And it's just, if you're going to use an argument, or you're going to use a narrative, let's not use a silly one, or let's not try and.
I agree. Keep it to what it's about.
Exactly.
And I think what it's about.
It's more the end game. The end game for everyone is they want these owners out. However they do it, and however they want to do it, I fully respect how they want to do it.
Absolutely. And I've seen people in here saying, oh, don't let this come between the YouTubers. It's not, it's just opinions.
No.
I fully
No.
respect all the people that do it. I don't want to be told that because I don't do it, I'm wrong, right? I'm not telling them they're wrong. I just don't want to do it. I don't pay. What I will say is I did see, so I think this is probably Stel, maybe. I don't know, it might be Iggy, I don't know. It said protesters protest inside and outside the stadium. Okay, cool. Right? If you watch Spurs on TV, that money feeds the club, adding 40 million to Enix's pockets compared to ticket sales. Glad to debate your myth. I mean, it's no myth. The ground's packed either way, right? My point still stands. It's not a myth. Is it a myth? I'll ask this question. Is it a myth that the ground's packed every single game?
Well, on average last season, 99.2%.
All right. Right. So let's go with yes or no's for speed.
Yeah.
Is it a myth? Right? Is
No.
it a myth? Is it a myth that people are before the game, during the game, and after the game still staying around and spending millions of pounds on food and drink? It's not a myth.
Nope.
Is it a myth that the club shop is always got people in it?
No.
Is it a myth that every NFL game is sold out? Is it a myth that every concert is sold out?
No.
Is it a myth that every boxing game, every boxing match is sold out? Is it a myth that one of the biggest tourist attractions in London is the Skywalk? Is it a myth that the Formula One's about to make loads of money? I don't know what's a myth. All I've said is this, right? All I've said is this. All the while they're getting all that money, they don't care what we think. That's all I've said. A business is doing well, they don't care.
Exactly.
Listen, that's it. Crack on with it. Everybody who's protesting, crack on. I'd love to see it work. I'd love to sit here and say it's worked. But I'll wrap up the show by saying this. My whole time, I've said the same thing from day one. Anyone knows me. These owners will leave of their own accord when they've had enough and when they get a bid that they want. It won't be because we've asked them to sell it cheap.
Yeah, agreed.
It won't be for me. Look, that's only my opinion. Just a little football fan. That's all I am. Barry, thanks for coming on, mate. Really appreciate that. Enjoyed that. Good debate. Good topics.
Yeah.
Good topics. Perchy, thank you very much.
Thank
Kate, just a girl who loves Spurs. Sorry, I've just seen this. Said, what have I missed? I've been in bed all day. Listen, I hope you feel better. What's been said? Sorry I'm late to the party. COVID is killing me softly. I'm not going to go through everything that's been said. Basically, I don't think protesting will work. But listen, thank you to everyone who's come into the comments. Thank you for all the sensible people. Much love. Take care. And as always, if I'm allowed to say it, Levy and Enoch out.